Alright, so so the fallout from the show, we got okay, think about it. Okay, Curt Hennig has retired, so we do a video package on the show dedicated to Curt Hennig's career in WCW. Get a couple of good clips. May even have him come out and do a speech where he implicates retirement but doesn't really come out and say that he's retiring, because he wasn't. He was just going away for a little while and he was going to come back. Maybe he had some okay, so yeah, we'd probably have that during the show, but we got the Bret Hart. We kick things off with the Bret Hart celebration. He comes out, he's like to the crowd, yeah, I got the belt, guys, I've got the belt. But he's given a speech. During the speech, the Outsiders come out, and Hogan's and Scott Hall's like, hey yo, what about giving the big guy a match? Because you could bring out the fact that I don't know if they'd really touched in WCW, but they never really Kevin Nash was never really able to pin him, and he wanted. Big Kev would say, he did say something along the lines, you only beat me, I was never able to beat you clean. And that's kind of been at me. Now, I've checked it out with Flair. Tonight, you're defending that belt against me. So either way, it can be a rematch from last year's Starcade and Big Goldberg can get his payback on me, or it'll be the first time ever you and Bret versus Goldberg. And unfortunately, Scotty, you're gonna have to stay backstage, and you're gonna have a couple of things where it indicates no drinking or anything. David Flair defends Cruiserweight title against Karagias, goes over. Harris Brothers versus Lenny and Lodi. Guess what? The Harris Brothers are going over again. Chris Benoit versus Inferno. Disco wins, but Big Vito shows up. I think Vito showed up before Johnny the Bull, but if Johnny the Bull was there, yeah, guess what? They can do that. And yeah, Vampiro versus Berlyn. Vampiro's going over. The Curt Hennig video package is right there. Sid versus Jim. Okay. Sid wins. Steve Williams, guess what? He comes back and he immediately takes on Brad Armstrong and smashes him. I like the idea of Steve Williams coming in and just smashing people to get rid of that stigma of that old brawl for all fiasco. Alright, the Filthy Animals, Kidman, Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and Konnan. I checked. Mysterio is back by this point. Take on Dustin Rhodes as well as the Revolution, which is represented by Shane Douglas, Dean Malenko, and Saturn. Okay, guess what? I'd probably have Dustin get the pin here over Kidman. Scott Hall versus Buff Bagwell. Scott Hall would probably go over there. Harlem Heat would be defending their... this would be a non-title match. Or would it be? Okay. What did I do? Oh, okay. No, that was the match where I did it. Okay. All right. This would be the tag title match. Oh no, it wouldn't. Oh god. All right. I can't remember what I did. Okay. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be a the. Jeez, I can't. All right, now, okay. It would be a title match. For some reason, I didn't put it in there. But okay. Here's what happens. Sting and Lex Luger. Sting's pissed about losing the belt, and Sting turns to Lex and says, "Hey, Luger's go. Don't worry, we're gonna have gold by the end of the night." This would be earlier on in the show, of course, because he's cleared it. First time ever. First time in Nitro. First time on Nitro in however long it was, because I think they did have a match earlier in the last time they were teaming together. First time in like 4 years or something. It would be first time in 3 or 4 years. Sting and Luger versus Harlem Heat for the tag titles, and Sting goes over. Stevie Ray is the one that takes the Scorpion Deathlock. Yeah, sorry guys, I didn't set that up before. I'll try and edit that last bit out. Jeff Jarrett versus Roddy Piper. Jeff Jarrett goes over here just because. Why did I want this match? Because I just wanted to see it. Goldberg versus Ming. Now you've seen what I've been doing with Ming. I've been kind of putting him over a bunch of times, but guess what? Goldberg needs the win. He's going into Starcade. Guess what? He gets a big win here. Then it's the world title match. Kevin Nash versus Bret Hart. Bret goes over because guess what? It's Bret's time to shine. So yeah, we still got some time here. The Masters of so we go into the December 13th show. And we got the Masters of Music. Now, I think Prince IK was already doing the artist formerly known as Prince IK gimmick. But who also was there was the Maestro. And I thought, why not team these two guys up, call them the Masters of Music, and have them as a tag team. Not a big tag team, but I thought it would be kind of cool. The Masters of Music. Both with their ladies. Symphony, who I think she was in the WWE. She played Ryan Shamrock in the WWE. But I have her in there, Symphony, and the artist was teaming up with Paisley, who is Booker's now wife. So they're taking on Juventud Guerrero and Silver King, and the artist gets the win here. I'm not even sure what his finisher was, but okay. Rick Steiner with Kevin Sullivan. Now, Kevin Sullivan was looking for a job here. He's kind of trying to he's trying to reform the group. And I think it was to make him happy or something. So, that he was involved with, what was it called? I can't even remember what it was called. But guess what? I'm not reforming that group for nobody. I'm just sticking with, I'm sticking with Sullivan with Rick Stein just for the hell of it. He's taking on Norman Smiley. I think I would have had, I think I might have had, in between time, Norman might have won the belt, the hardcore title, with a quick roll up. And guess what? That's how he wins here. So yeah, and then we got Mike Rotundo versus Tank Abbott. This match doesn't go long. Tank Abbott just knocks out Mike Rotundo. Because guess what? I've seen what Mike Rotundo looked like there, and 99, and I think he was probably doing Japan tours as well at the time, so guess what? He can job to tank out Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn. In what must be, I don't know why I kept doing this. Stevie Ray. He goes to Booker and says, because Stevie Ray wasn't doing too well in his single run. He wasn't winning so many matches as Booker. So earlier in the night, we show this spot where he has convinced Booker that, guess what, I have gotten us a #1 contendership for the tag titles at Starcade. We will get one more shot with them. And Booker's like, no, I don't want to do it. I want you to go your way and me to go my way. And Stevie goes, no, brother, we can do this, because I need you, bro. I need you to do this for me. One last run, and it's like, Booker's like, oh, all right, fine. One last time. But if we lose that match at Starcade, that's it. No more. And he's like, yeah, we've got a warm-up match tonight against... I managed to get some warm-up against this guy. And Booker T wins. Like... Yeah, but this is set up. Scott Hall versus Lex Luger. Luger wins. Then we got the Harris Brothers versus Big Vito and Johnny the Bull. Harris Brothers win with the H-bomb. Because, yeah, I'm gonna have the Harris Brothers take on something. I liked the Mamalukes, but not yet. Evan Karagias versus La Parka. La Parka wins. Then we got Disco Inferno versus Konnan for the TV title. This time Disco gets a win. David Flair and Dustin Rhodes versus Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. Dustin wins. Billy Kidman versus Lodi. Kidman wins. Sid, Jeff Jarrett, and Chris Kanyon, who's made his return and turned on his good friend DDP, take on DDP, Chris Benoit, and Buff Bagwell. This is a setup for 2 matches at the pay-per-view. Sid wins, because, yeah, he's fucking Sid. And Sting versus Kevin Nash in the main event, which would be built up throughout the night. That's why I did Scott Hall versus Lex Luger. It's probably the biggest match I could put together. And Bret and Goldberg would have done a sit-down interview just before the 6-man to talk about their match, because it was a big match and they wouldn't be doing anything on this week's show. They would be just doing a sit-down with Mike's name. It's kind of similar to that sit-down. Goldberg talks about how all the year he's been hunting for that belt. He says, I'm not complete without that belt. That belt's everything to me. And Bret goes, hey, this is my first reign with this belt. You think I'm just going to have it last 1 month? And how long have I been in this? He tells her. He said, I ask him, he says, how long have I been in this business? And he says, well, long time, Bret. I forget how long he'd been in the business by that point. And Bret goes, yeah. How long have you been in this business? You've been in this business only a few years, Bill. Before that, you were playing football. And you had that long streak, Bill. And when it was over, you were still winning matches and everything, Bill. But I was winning championships. I've won a lot more championships. I've held the world title a couple of times, Bill. I don't know what it takes to be a champion. You probably don't really know what it takes to be a champion, Bill. But you did a good job when you were champion. You held that belt a long time. I have held championships a lot longer than that, Bill. And they had to screw me to take the last one out off me. And I'm not going to let that happen again, Bill. And one bold son of a bitch, when I took him on the first time, I beat him. And the second time, he was lying in the ring, bloody. And he was screaming for his mama. So yeah. Something along those lines. That's not as good as I would want it to be, but yeah, that'd be a good run. Okay, let's see if we can get through Starcade. And I want to do a little epilogue here. Okay, Cruiserweight Championship. David Flair versus Rey Mysterio. David Flair wins, but it's through interference from Dustin Rhodes that gets his win. Hardcore title match. And it's a rematch between Norman Smiley and Bam Bam. Bam Bam gets the belt back. That's the last you're going to see of Norman Smiley in the hardcore title. But I think we've done enough with Screaming Norman Smiley. He would have been Screaming Norman Smiley by now. The Harris Brothers. This is for the number one contendership for the tag team titles. Not necessarily the following night or anything, but yeah. The Harris Brothers win with the H-bomb after Stevie Ray and Curly Bill turn on Booker T that night, and that's the end of Harlem Heat. So that sets up a match. Sold out. Dustin Rhodes versus Eddie Guerrero. Dustin wins. The WCW Tag Team titles, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash versus Sting and Lex Luger. The Outsiders win. The US title, a four-way. Sid, Chris Benoit, Jeff Jarrett, and Buff Bagwell. But Benoit wins by making Jeff Jarrett tap out. Okay, so Chris Canyon's come back, and he's turned on his friend, and he hasn't really said a word. He's just sort of been looking at him. He comes into the ring when he's having a match. Flatliner. So during the match, Diamond Dallas Page has got his diamond cutter symbol up in the air. He's about to go for it, and lights come up. And they're like, "Oh God, it's happened again! DDP's in the ring, and we've lost the feed for the pay-per-view." And they're like, "No, we're still in the air. We're still in the air. What's happening in the ring? What's happening in the ring? I can't see. So, lights come back on. DDP's out. Chris Canyon goes over, covers him. He's looking up at him because Vamprio's got this sack thing with him. He's looking up at him, and the referee counts 1, 2, 3 because the referee can't do anything because there's nothing. He doesn't know if anything's happened, and he opens that thing up, hands him the Mortis mask. So, and then in the ring, he puts the Mortis mask back on, and he goes, and then Mortis' music plays, and then okay. Special referee for the world title match is Ric Flair. Okay, this is back and forth. It's on and off. It's like, and it's been a while trying to figure out who should win this match. And I think the reason why the original result happened was because they didn't know who should win the match. They didn't want to hurt Goldberg, and they didn't want to hurt Bret. So they kind of painted themselves into a corner with this one. And if you remember, they had Bret turn heel. But I don't know if I want to turn Bret heel. I don't want to turn, and I definitely don't want to turn Goldberg heel, because Goldberg's money. So the Outsiders come out during the match, and Ric Flair is sending them. He's trying to send Kevin Nash back, because Scott Hall's coming over the railing and everything, and he pulls out a taser. He tases Goldberg again. If you remember, that's how I had him lose before. So it's like, and by the way, during that Mayhem match, Goldberg beat the fuck out of Sid. But there's another guy I don't really want to hurt. So yeah, he's like, damn. And Bret's over there also telling Kevin Nash to go away, and Nash sort of backs up. He's like, okay. And then they turn around, they see Bill in the ring, and they look at each other, and Bret kind of goes like this. He puts him in the sharpshooter, but and Bret looks over at Rick, and he's like, and then Bret turns to the crowd. He's like, wax! It beats the hell out of Ric Flair. And then the Outsiders come back out. They're like, and then Jeff also comes out. Hey. And they're all, because originally they're all coming out, and Jeff's got one of those bags with him, and they all put on NWO t-shirts, and that's how we go off the show. So that's not all. Like, I kind of did the same thing, but I did it better, and yeah, at least I think. So we kind of go into 2000. We got the NWO 2000, and we got the Outsiders with tag belts. So obviously I'd be doing a title match with them, and the whole point would be they rally, the NWO's back, and it's a lot more concise. It's a group of 4. I don't know if I'd have Scott Steiner joining. I know that was a pretty cool segment and everything. Sting and Lex would kind of now be baby faces. Ric Flair would be a baby face. It wouldn't be a heel. Yeah, so going in the Sold Out, when we got Vampiro and now Mortis is back. And you kind of know it's Chris Kanyon, but like it would be doing this whole thing where the mask is sort of made Chris Kanyon darker, and he's not speaking anymore because I think that was like a problem with Chris Kanyon, was he had this lisp, and it kind of didn't make him intimidating. I think he, like, if Chris Kanyon doesn't talk, and Vampriro is sort of doing the talking for him, sort of, and he's not doing Chris sort of doing nothing but standing there, and he's sort of in the mask and everything. So we got that angle going. We got Benoit as the US champion. Sid's coming up to challenge for the world title, because that would be the next challenger. Also, the following night, Ric Flair would come down with this message from the powers that be, and he'd ask Goldberg to come out, and he'd say, Goldberg would be like, I want my rematch. And he says, well, this is not me, Bill. But you cannot challenge for the world title until you get 175 pinfall or submission victories over your opponents. And Bill's like, what? He's like, Bill's like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? And Ric Flair says, it's not me, it's the powers that be. They don't think you've got it anymore. You lost your match to Bret Hart. And it's like, well, he said, and then he puts him down and he says, Scott Hall's number one. And it's like, yeah, okay, so Goldberg would be appearing on just about, because thing would be, Goldberg would be sort of saying, okay, I've got to get those victories. So as a shoot kind of thing, Goldberg would be appearing on TV as much as he possibly can wrestling, and he'd be defeating like whoever. He'd be like, and so he'd come to the ring and go, who's next? Who's next? And someone would come out to try and stop him, because the other stipulation would be whoever beats Bill automatically gets a title shot. Whether it's that night or the next show. So that would be kind of this bounty thing that whoever can beat Bill Goldberg will automatically get a title shot. See, it's like whoever is there. So it's not Goldberg gets fired. It's whoever beats Bill also becomes as the number one contender. So it's kind of like a Money in the Bank type thing as well. So you do that. And I've got the breakup of Booker T. So immediately the next pay-per-view they'd have a match. Then they'd have and Booker would win the feud. Booker would win just about every match. I don't know if we'd bring Ahmed Johnson in. It's the only thing. And we've got David Flair running around with the Cruiserweight title. The other thing to do with David is he'd be showing the belt to his dad, sort of going, I'm the champion, Dad. I'm a world champion. He goes, no, you're not a world heavyweight champion. You're a world cruiserweight champion. And David goes, he sort of snaps when that happens. And he starts beating up on Arn, who's in the room, and he's like, what the? And then Dustin comes in, chugging, and he goes, not yet. Not yet, Dave. Not yet, Dave. And he's like, I want him, I want to get him. And he's like, not yet. So eventually we lead it up to a match between Ric Flair and David Flair. And he's like, yeah. Well, then they're like, we'll get him. So, and eventually Ric Flair would surrender his position and as like commissioner, and it would go to someone else. So if I were hit with that whole thing with Bret having a concussion, I would do a gauntlet match thing for the belt, or I would do what they ended up doing as well. But again, I'd probably still end up in a similar situation when I did my 2000 booking series, when I did that, when I booked to Starcade. So anyway, another series I might do is 2000 from the reboot, what I would have done for the reboot series, and we'll get there. So I hope everyone enjoyed this series. I challenge Mickey Babylon to do what I did here in his own way. Book those 3 months with Russo. He doesn't have to do the nitros and all before and after like I did for those shows, but he should at least establish what his version of the Powers of B angle would be. I think keeping Ric Flair on TV in a commissioner type role works, because you sort of that established face thing going. So yeah, tell me what you think also down below in the comments. I love reading the comments, even the mean ones. So keep them coming, because the last one that someone left on one of my videos, it made me laugh just because they said that this was old, and that was a video from that was dealing with 2000, and yeah, that was interesting. And I also think getting Hogan off TV was interesting as well. So that's the other stipulation for you, Mickey. You got to get Ric Flair, and you got to get Ric Flair off TV, and you've also got to get Hogan off TV, because they were off TV as well at the same time. So, but you got to do it in a non-Vince Russo type of video. I know this video has gone longer than the other ones, so I'm sorry about that. But I didn't want to just do a separate video when I was on a roll there. Alright, see you all later.